BMW Neue Klasse. You don't need Duolingo to figure out that Neue Klasse in English means new class, and this is the new class of electrification for BMW. Even though this is camouflaged up pretty good, this is the BMW iX3 50 xDrive, the first generation of electrification for BMW heading into this 2025. I'm here in south of France at the Autodrome de Miramas, getting a real special sneak peek at this car. As you can tell, it is camouflaged. It's a pre-production model. It's actually not even pre-production, it's before that, it's prototype. So, you know, the driving experience is what it's gonna be, but inside and stuff, it's kind of still rough. But I've had a great experience out here, learned so much about this vehicle. I mean, in the numbers, it's got over 400 horsepower. It's, you know, something like over 600 kilometers of range, which we'll see if that's true, but if so, it's going to be a game changer for BMW. So let's take a closer look at the BMW iX3 50 xDrive. Despite still being at the prototype stage, our day with the iX3 demonstrated that BMW engineers have worked hard to achieve a high level of handling sophistication in this all-new, all-electric vehicle. During an hour-long public road drive, followed by a couple of hours of track time at BMW's Autodrome de Miramas facility, it became quite apparent that the Neue Klasse EVs will have the same driving dynamic DNA as the automaker's performance-oriented ICE vehicles. And really, given an EV sprint times and other performance, probably more. The instructions to the engineering team was to make the iX3 comfortable and smooth, but still with that BMW spirit, and to make it efficient. If BMW's claim of 15 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers turns out to be accurate, they'll all be cashing bonus checks soon. So driving this iX3 50 through some mountain roads in the south of France has been quite an experience. I'm here with Stefan, one of the engineers responsible for this suspension system. It's not a complex suspension system. It doesn't have adaptive dampers. It's got steel springs, but they've done such a great job between the mechanical and the software to give this thing such a planted feel and such a confident feel over some roads that were pretty choppy. It's a very impressive ride. Smooth is what they were after. Maybe not a high performance vehicle, but they've done an amazing job in making this a very easy to drive car, even in some challenging places. As much as BMW engineers invested thousands of hours into fine-tuning the SUV's chassis, their counterparts in the battery department put in overtime to get the very most out of the electrification system of the iX3. We don't know the battery size yet, but BMW reports an EPA full charge range of a whopping 643 kilometers. Yes, 643 kilometers, 400 kilowatt charging power, and a maximum power output of just over 400 horsepower. The day's events included a live demo of the iX3's charging prowess, which begins with a self-opening charge port door a la Tesla. Battery precondition begins once a charging station has been selected in the navigation system, or you can choose to manually begin the process. Our test vehicle began with 56 kilometers of range, and once plugged in, maxed out at 402 kilowatts, charging for about 3.5 minutes at that level, before dropping down to around 370 kilowatts. Just 11 minutes after being plugged in, the range showed as 432 kilometers, with an average charging speed of 325 kilowatts. So from 56 kilometers of range to 432 in 11 minutes. Super impressive. Yes, true, it was conducted under ideal circumstances with a powerful 400 kilowatt charger, but still, there is no denying the excellent charging capacity of the iX3. Another charging highlight is the ability to bi-directional charge, with BMW offering adapters for vehicle-to-load, vehicle-to-vehicle, and vehicle-to-home capabilities. And yes, there is an available NACS adapter. Engineers from both the driving dynamics and battery management departments used artificial intelligence to build and improve their respective systems. And AI also plays a major role on board the iX3, specifically in BMW's next generation of advanced driver assistance system technology. I experienced the new ADAS from the iX3's driver's seat during a closed course demo that saw me on the track joined by 2 other vehicles. To engage the system, you press the steering wheel mounted ADAS button, which turns green when engaged. This provides hand-free operation up to 130 kilometers an hour, and unleashes several very cool driving aids. One is a lane change simply by glancing in the driver's side rearview mirror. The iX3 checks that lane is clear, signals and makes the lane change and accelerates up to 130 kilometers an hour. To return to the lane, a glance at the passenger side mirror engages the system and off you go. I had first experienced this during the global first drive of the BMW i5 a year and a half ago, and while that initial system was a bit glitchy, my experience in the iX3 was flawless, worked every time I looked in the mirror. Then there's automatic drive off, a great hands and feet free feature for stop and go traffic, particularly in highway gridlock. When set, the iX3 mimics the movements of the car ahead. When it comes to a complete stop, so does the iX3. And when it begins to move, the iX3 follows. All the while without the driver steering or pressing either pedal. This doesn't mean you can catch up on text or read a book, however. The onboard camera aimed at the driver detects inattentive actions, and when it does, will prompt the driver to look up and take control of the steering wheel. One of the more dramatic demonstrations involved a roadside mannequin and a roadside vehicle. This was called Emergency Steering Assist. While still in hands-free mode, the iX3 would recognize the person or vehicle by the side of the road, slow down, and if the outside lane is clear, signal and move over, all without the driver needing to do anything. If the lane is not clear, the iX3 will come to a complete stop. Another bit of hands-free trickery was the new advanced parking features, which sought to make engaging them less complicated than BMW's current system. Customer feedback has shown that very few BMW owners use the autonomous parking system because there are, well, too many steps. A new AI algorithm seeks to make it easier, and judging from my demo, it certainly does. Just pull up to an empty parking stall, press the steering wheel mounted self-parking icon, and the system is activated. You can choose to back in or go nose first by selecting either on the display screen. From there, the system takes over. To leave the parking lot, you simply press that steering wheel button and start the system again. The final ADAS demo was something you might not need often, but if you do, it will come in very handy. Let's say you're traveling along a narrow road or laneway and come to a dead end. With nowhere to turn around, you'll need to reverse out. Again, back to the steering wheel button and select Start Reversing, and the iX3 will reverse in its exact tire tracks for up to 200 meters. All you must do is control the speed and braking. Brilliant, and even more so if you're trying to do this in the dark. As the iX3 I drove was a prototype, the cabin, like the exterior, was for the most part concealed. However, the all-new display system, called Panoramic iDrive, was revealed. Unfortunately, we have no video or images of that just yet. The facility and the iX3 are so secret still that my iPhone was only allowed on the premises and in the vehicle with a sticker covering the camera lens. We're going to have to wait a couple of months. What I can tell you is the Panoramic iDrive is comprised of 4 elements: a center dash display screen, a multifunctional steering wheel, an advanced heads-up display system, and a pillar-to-pillar screen. That latter one, called Panoramic Vision, is not like the ones so many automakers are employing these days, what with 3 or 4 connected large screens overwhelming the dashboard. Instead, it is a slim screen that displays important driver information in front of the driver and small customizable panels in front of the passenger. The Panoramic iDrive system and the all-new ADAS feature will be coming to all BMWs in the future, gas and electric. According to BMW, that includes 27 new or updated models in just the next 2 years. Everything else to know about the BMW iX3 will be revealed during its global debut at the IAA Mobility Show in Munich in early September. We'll be there, so check back then to learn more about the first ever BMW Neue Klasse. So there you have it. That's the nuts and bolts and electrons of this all-new electric vehicle. I can't tell you how exciting it is finally for the Neue Klasse to come. We've heard about it for, I think, 3 years now. With the Vision 1 started this whole discussion. This car is going to excite me when it comes out next year, but what's even more exciting is the next Neue Klasse that BMW is going to make. That's going to be a 3 Series. Can you imagine? Now, this car is going to be built in Hungary starting later this year. Production ramps up. There's going to be some markets like Europe and gets it first. However, Canada, I'm told, Q2 2026, this vehicle will be available in Canada. For Driving.ca, I'm Andrew McCready.